हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेरी वार्म वेलकम टू दिस अनदर रिवीजन लेक्चर। आज हम लोग जो डिस्कस करने वाले हैं दैट इज रिलेटिंग टू द प्रोविजंस ऑफ कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम। वी हैव टू कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम्स, one of which is section 10(1) and 10(2) composition scheme. Second is 10(2)(a) composition scheme. So today we are going to quickly revise the 10(1) and 10(2) section composition scheme. Basically it is the relief facility provided by the government for small taxpayers meaning whose aggregate turnover is not exceeding either 75 lakhs or 1.5 cr's, the amount depending upon the states in which they are operationals. And for 75 lakhs there are 8 specified states which are given, and for all other states it is 1.5 crore. Now if the turnover is not exceeding those threshold limits, one can opt for these composition scheme. It is not mandatory to go for it. This is an option given to small taxpayers by the government. Secondly, what are the reliefs or facilities which are given by government for composition taxable person? Number one, they need not worry about the tax rate and classification, etc. They have to pay tax at flat rate of percentage. For manufacturers and traders it is 1%, that is 0.5% of CGST and 0.5% of SGST. And for restaurant service, which is the only service covered by this particular composition scheme, the rate would be 5%, that is 2.5% each CGST and SGST. Now what are the restrictions which are required to be followed to fit into the composition scheme? First, you have to intimate the government for getting covered or opting in for the composition scheme. The new registration person can select the composition scheme option at the time of registration, or the existing taxpayers can opt to go in the composition scheme by filling up a form application on GST common portal, that is GST network. Few restrictions which are required to be followed by the composition scheme. They cannot collect tax from the customers, they have to pay out of their own pockets. They cannot avail input tax credit. There is a restriction on supply of interstate supply of goods. They cannot supply service. They cannot supply goods from e-commerce operator. Non-residential taxable persons and temporary GST registration numbers cannot opt for composition scheme. And suppliers, that is manufacturers of specified goods such as ice cream, edible ice, tobacco products, aerated drinks, these cannot opt for composition scheme. Composition scheme have taxable person have few benefits in terms of compliance. So they are not required to file the monthly statements or returns, that is in GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B. They are required to file an annual return, GSTR 4. Quarterly they have to make payment based on their turnover, so that payment is to be done in CMP 08, that is to be filed quarterly. So these are various benefits, those can be availed. Few conditions which they have to fulfill all the time. They have to keep the board, signboard, etc. updated with a disclaimer that this is a composition taxable person, not required to collect taxes. Same thing they have to write on the bill of supply. They cannot issue tax invoice. They are required to issue bill of supply, on which they should clearly write that they cannot recover tax from the customers. So these are the various conditions, restrictions, benefits for composition scheme. I hope now that is clear to you. In the next session we will also revise the composition scheme under section 10(2)(a). Thank you.